Hello, hello. Is everything working? Yeah. Good morning, Miranda. Hello. Good morning, good morning. I'll just be sharing the link in the Facebook group. And I haven't finished my cup of tea yet because I only got up an hour ago. I needed a lot of sleep today, but I feel really rested, so that's nice. Right. I can never talk when I'm typing, so just a sec. Oh, we have a new member to the group. Kathleen, approve, welcome. Right. Now to share it on Instagram as well. Share, copy. All right, hello, how is everyone doing? Good morning. Good morning, Natasha. Good morning, Chris. So nice to see you again, Miranda and Chris, after after yesterday's workshop. And Natasha, I'm preparing the replay, so hopefully I can get it online later today. But it was really fun, and I have some really nice ideas for future patterns and future workshops, and I think you'll really like it. My music is playing a bit too loud. I mean, the one that I'm playing for myself. I can't get my previous playlist to work for myself, so I'm listening to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom music, which is very nice. It's a wonderful game and lots of like cozy, soft music when you're not battling some goblin. Yeah, and I know it's considered not really fun to talk about the weather, but I do want to mention it because holy moly, it has been so cold this week and so weird. I think a couple days ago it even snowed nearby. And yeah, what's up? It's June. Lovely cup, yes, it's knitted. Well, not really, you know. But yeah, a friend of mine got this for me years and years and years ago. It was from May from Ice Pandora blog, and it was back in, I don't know, 2013, when we were still just blogging and having a blog roll. Remember that? Where you had a bookmark and then you would just read all of the blogs and see if they had an update, and most of them had an update weekly, if not multiple times a week. And yeah, it was a lovely time, actually. Yeah, and I always get reminded by that when I drink from this cup. It doesn't say any brand, but yeah. Yeah, so before we get on with the cardigan, I have to update you on my baby blanket that I was knitting on my knitting machine because disaster has struck. No, that's dramatic. I'll show you and then you can see for yourself. Miranda says, I love the workshop. Oh, thank you so much. I loved it as well. It was so fun. And I'm already looking forward to the next one, which is happening in July. Right, so I knit this blanket from Scapy's Metropolis, a lovely yarn, which I have used for many, many, many projects. Can you see how thin that is? It's a very wide gauge. So I have to knit it again at a smaller gauge. But I'll probably knit a gauge swatch first, because this is the thing with machine knitting. When it's on the machine, it's stretched out immensely because the needles on the machine are further apart than, you know, the stitches on the machine are further apart than the stitches would be if they were on your needle. And then you have the weight, which just pulls it very, very loose. And that all springs back to, you know, it's not as open when you take it off the machine and then wash it. But if you don't knit a gauge swatch beforehand, then you don't really know what it's going to be like. And I did not knit a gauge swatch for this. So yeah, I'm left with a very, very drapey and very thin blanket. So I think I'll just knit another one. It does look nice and flowy. It does. So I was thinking to just sew it closed here and then make it into a cowl and then gift it to my friend anyway, and then she'll have a matching cowl to her baby's blanket, which may be nice. And I have enough yarn anyway. Hi Annalena, good morning. So nice that you were at the workshop yesterday as well. I was just showing my baby blanket that I knit on the machine that I will have to knit again. So my machine again, very, very simple. Usually this is called the carriage. Is it called the carriage? I think so. And then you use that to slide across your knitting machine, and that's what knits the stitches. On most machines, you have a little dial here, almost like a volume button that you can turn, and you can use that to set the gauge. on this machine, I can open it and there is a plate inside, and this one is number 2. This one is number 3. And these bits, you see some bits are very, they look dirty. They're not dirty. It's, I've rubbed them with wax, which you should do with this knitting machine, so that the needles slide more smoothly. And so I have different gauge plates, numbered 1 through 4, and these are 2 and 3. And what 3 does is that it's slightly longer. So on the machine, it pushes the needle back further so that the stitch loop is longer. So that makes a bigger gauge. And plate 2 does not move it as far back, so that the loop is not as big, and that's what's, yeah. So this creates larger stitches and therefore a larger gauge. I hope that kind of makes sense. So I'm going to just use a smaller plate and try again with a gauge swatch and see if that works. But it might not. But yeah, that is how this machine works. So yeah. Yes, I love the workshop. Yay! I've been working on my second headband, and you won't be able to see the difference, but yeah, I'll be able to wear it soon. For those who weren't at the workshop, here is my headband with the ribbed cables, and there's some ribbed stitches in between as well, which I think looks really nice. Yeah. And yeah, you can see a couple more cable patterns coming in my future, because I realized I don't have that many cabled patterns. I have one knitting pattern. Well, actually 2, but one is not available anymore. And then another crochet cable headband. But it's not really, it's not very similar. So yeah, I'll be knitting this blanket again, which I don't mind. This was maybe 1 hour of work, so it's very fast. And yeah, the blue is just waste yarn, because it is very difficult to cast on and cast off on the machine. So instead, it's easier to just knit a few rows of waste yarn and then pick up the stitches and cast on, cast off manually. Yeah, my friend chose the colors for the blanket. We were video chatting, and I just showed her all of the colors that I had for this yarn, and she said, oh, I like that, oh, I like that, I like that one. And then we just put them together, and yeah, it looks very nice. She's very into autumn colors, so yeah. So I think it will look good on her as a cowl as well. Yeah. Where do I put this now? Hi, Ivana, how are you? Oh, Chris changed yarn for the cable. Red Rose concept by Katya. Oh yes, they have really nice yarns. I've seen them a couple times in yarn shops, and I always think, that's interesting. So my cardigan. Oh, my nose is very itchy. Excuse me. Right. I was working on the sleeves last night. I do have to take out the last row because I put it on and I thought it looked a bit too wide, so I want to decrease in this row. So just until, yeah, there. And I've been doing one stripe on one sleeve and doing the same stripe on the other sleeve. Just so that I remember when I did the increases. Might look a bit weird on this blouse. Oh, it's very white, like very, how do you say that, blown out? It's looking much lighter than it is in real life. Yeah, very summery. I have to say, it's not really like me, I think. I think I might have to add a bright yellow something, or a brighter color somewhere on the cardigan, just to give it a little bit more contrast. But you know, these were just all, oh, I dropped one. These were just all of the colors I was able to dye with my natural dyes. This was Madder Root. This was, I think, also Madder Root, but the second dye bath. Cochineal, probably birch leaves. So yeah. And I think birch leaves or chamomile. Miranda says, I've not started the sleeves yet. I still need to watch Tuesday's live stream. Oh yeah, that will be really helpful for that. I did also take pictures. I'm going to write up a blog post today with the pictures of the side panel and the sleeves. But Tuesday's video, I think, will be very helpful for that. Yeah, so I thought I might be able to finish it today, but I don't think so. Still need to do quite a bit, but we'll see. And for anyone who wants to share, please do let me know what you're working on today, because I know we can always do with some more ideas and inspiration. And yeah, and it's fun to cheer each other on. Right. I just had a text from my partner this morning. He said, "Oh no, the midges!" So midges are really small, sort of like mosquitoes or flies, and they bite you. And before we moved to Scotland, everyone was like, "Are you sure you want to move to Scotland because of all the midges?" But it's like, it's only during 2 months of the year, and only in, well, like in forests or whatever, in nature, and not in the city. So we haven't come across them yet until this morning, and yeah, Tim had a whole swarm around him, and they bit him in his face. So we're gonna have to buy some midge repellent. Right, so that's what's happening in Scotland at the moment. Natasha's working on the final row of the 6th repeat. Yay! And how many did you want to do in total? Was it 12 or 13? You got this. You got this. And because you have an ombre yarn, every row you can do on that shawl, I know it will be like 30 minutes or even 45 minutes for a row, but every row will add so much more just because of that ombre. It will be so worth it. Yeah. Especially those last couple garter stitch rows, because I'm going to tell you a little secret. Doesn't need to be a secret. I often do a couple of garter stitch rows at the end of lace shawls, because lace looks very good when it's stretched out, so that's why we block lace shawls. But garter stitch is a very heavy stitch because it's so squished together. You know, because when you knit garter, it kind of looks shorter than if you knit the same amount of rows in stockinette. So it's very heavy for those couple of rows. So that's why it can pull a little bit more on your lace. I'm thinking I can get to 15 repeats, but I don't know if it will last till then. My mind is getting quite done with it. Yeah, I want to get to the garter stitch. I understand. Yeah, I mean, you can do with less lace repeats as long as you keep the garter in there. Because I think the garter is quite important. I've also been thinking of incorporating like some beads into lace shawls because that adds even more weight. So that might look nicer. Yeah, so I've been reading about midge repellents this morning. And reading up on DEET about whether or not you want DEET in an insect repellent or not. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not looking forward to the moment where I meet the midges for the first time myself. This has taught me that lace knitting is easier than I thought it was. Oh, nice. That's a really good realization to have. I'm very happy that you think that. I mean, it is with a lot of knitting techniques that it seems more difficult at first or before you do it. But really with lace knitting, the thing you absolutely don't want is to make a mistake and only realize rows later. And if you can manage that, you know, you can put in lifelines into your stitches so that you have some checkpoints where you can rip your yarn out to, or you can work with stitch markers so that it's easier to keep track of your stitches, and it's easier to spot mistakes. And I think, because I think that's why most people say lace knitting is difficult, because sometimes you don't spot a mistake, and you know, if you spot it well after you've knit another 10 centimeters, then it can be just it can break your spirit a little bit. But you know, especially when you have a bit of practice with lace knitting, and if you learn to understand it, like, oh, there's yarn over in this repeat, there must be a decrease somewhere here in this repeat as well. When you learn that, it becomes easier and easier. Oh, I forgot I hadn't turned on the camera yet. There we go. I've been thinking for this cardigan to do scalloped edges at the sleeves. So for my first cardigan, I did a couple rows of single crochet, and I think I'll do that at least, I think. But what I was thinking of doing is also adding scalloped edges. So I'll just this is just a yarn band, the ball band. And with crochet, you can very easily create scalloped edges. And I think because this cardigan is so fun and oh, you can't really see that, can you? Maybe with the blue. Yeah. And I think because this cardigan is so fun and summery, that maybe it would look good with scalloped edges. I think it would be very cute. So yeah, it's just a thought. Let me know what you think. Because I mean, it's pastel. I'm going to wear it and it'll be a very happy outfit, so why not make it more happy? Natasha says, I've definitely made mistakes, but I was able to fix them. Oh, really good. The stitch markers are very helpful, but also don't read ahead too much. Just pay attention to the row that you're in. Oh, that is really, really good advice. Yeah, you want to just focus on the row that you're knitting. Because I've definitely done that where I've mixed up and looked at a different row and started knitting that. So whenever I'm reading a lace pattern, I often put a piece of paper and I block the chart so that I only see the row that I'm supposed to be knitting, or I use some paper washi tape or something. Oh, what's this? I think I can just cut this away. Yeah, it's sliding over the yarn, so I can definitely cut it. There. Just throw that away. Chris says, yes, bows and fluo pink all around the cardi. Actually, that would be very, very cute. Yvonne uses Knit Companion, the best app. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That must make it really easy to track which row you're on. Yeah, I should look into that. Miranda says scallops will be beautiful, I think. Oh, thank you. I think I'll try it out, and if I don't like it, I can always rip it out. And Miranda uses washi tape with patterns with lots of rows. Yeah. Yeah, very clever. Because if you're looking at your pattern and then you're continuing your knitting or your crochet, and then you look back and you're like, whoa, where am I? And I have also a couple of my friends, they have magnetic pattern boards. So they have, it kind of looks like a tablet cover. So they have their board standing in front of them with the pattern, you know, the pattern print out. And then they have this magnetic, almost looks like a ruler, and then just click it on there, and they can really easily move it around on the paper to mark where they're at. It always looks very fancy. I do still have to decide how long to make the sleeves. And I'm always tempted to make the sleeves shorter because then I'll be done sooner. But I think I will make full length sleeves because my arms are always colder than the rest of my body. I think this will be a very nice cardigan to wear in the summer. On the I often wear a cardigan just when I get up and before I go to bed, because I always get colder then, and of course in summer I need a lighter cardigan for those times, and this might just be my new morning cardigan then. We'll see. Because it does have wool. It's 50% wool, 50% cotton that I'm using. So it will be will still be nice and warm, I think. But it does, you know, it's double crochet, so it does have big gaps, and that's what makes it a bit colder. Beautiful top you're wearing. Oh, thank you. Is it crochet too? No, this is knitted. And oops, I clicked the wrong one. So I knit this stripy top from cotton yarn, just 100% cotton, and this side is unfinished. You know, I just let it roll over. But this side, I had worn it a couple times, and I thought it needed a bit of ribbing here, so I added this last week. And yeah, I think it's really nice. I used up a lot of cotton scraps for this. So that was really fun to use up so much cotton and so much tiny stripes. Yeah, really fun. Miranda, is everything okay? And I do have some more cotton yarn that I want to make another top out of, but this time I have more quantities of just one color. I'll show you the colors that I have. last time I really used up a lot of smaller balls of all different kinds of colors. So I have a lot of this green, I have a lot of this brown, and some blue, some gray. I have some yellow as well. But yeah, and then more of this color. My keyboard is not listening to me. Yeah. I know the struggle. Oh, all this yard scratching my nose. So I do want to make another top with these colors, but I haven't decided what pattern yet. I'm supposed to decrease here. I haven't crocheted in a few days, and seeing you wants to make me finish my cardigan. I finished the side panels and the sewing, so just the sleeves to crochet. Yay! You could do it. It's, you know, part of starting the sleeve is adding stitches to the front row of the front panel, and that part is very easy because you're working just one stitch on a stitch, but then for the bottom part there is a little bit where you have to work in the side of a stitch here and in the side panel. And what I do for the corners of the side panel, so here I do a double crochet 3 together in the corner, and then here as well. And then for each side of the stitch, sometimes I do 2 stitches, sometimes I do 3 stitches. It's just kind of it's just a matter of trying and seeing, because sometimes if you do 2 stitches, sometimes it kind of looks like there is a slight gap there, so then you want to do 3 stitches. But yeah, just try it out, and the beauty with crochet is that you can rip back very easily and just start over. But yeah, still it is I do recommend watching the video from Tuesday. Okay, I need to switch color again, unless I do 3 rows of this. No, this is quite a boring color, so I want to switch yarns. So if you were here last Tuesday, you might remember that I was telling that we were gonna have friends over and we were going to see puffins this weekend. And our friends, they're gonna take the boat from IJmuiden, close to Amsterdam, to Newcastle, and they would leave on Wednesday and then arrive on Thursday. So today is a Thursday. So yesterday morning, my partner messaged his friends saying, "Hey, good travels today. We're looking forward to having you here." And they replied, "Oh, well, it's super sweet that you're already looking forward to it, but we're coming next week." And turns out that they had already said that the whole time, but my partner had told me that they were coming June 13th today. And we were both fully convinced. So my partner had already deep cleaned the whole house. We had done groceries for them as well, and one of them is vegetarian, so of course I planned some vegetarian meals this week. We have all of the things. My partner had taken some days off work on Friday and on Monday. We had been looking at, just arranging the puffin trip this weekend. And yesterday morning, he said, "Oh, they're coming next week." So he had to cancel his days off. He's moving things around so he can have the same days off next week. We have, well, we also eat vegetarian meals a couple times a week, so it really doesn't matter that we had already bought those things. But now I have to think of different vegetarian meals to cook next week because I don't want to eat the same thing 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. It was all just kind of like, how can you think that they're coming in the 1 week while they're coming next week? Yeah. And I think on last Tuesday I also mentioned that oh, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing the live stream on Thursday because I wasn't sure what time they were gonna be arriving, but now it's next week. Oh well, so we will see puffins next weekend, and this weekend we'll do something else. There's lots to explore here in Scotland, and there's always something to do, so that's really nice. We live very close to the beach. We can go to the mountains. It's all, yeah. Very happy being here. Sometimes the brain gets stuck in some things, yeah. But, he has definitely done this before. And it's not going to be the last time that he does this. A couple years ago, he was going to Greece with his friends to search for lizards and snakes, and you know, they all studied herpetology, so this is what they do together. And so my partner, so Tim, was fully convinced. Like, oh, I don't remember where. It was a couple of years ago, but let me look at the map and see if I remember. Let's see. Yeah, I remember them saying Thessaloniki. Yeah, I'll ask him. I'll let you know next time. So, yeah, they went. They did go to an island, but they stayed in several places. So I'll get. I'll ask him. And you know, he was preparing for the trip. He was packing. He was just happy, and suddenly his friends texted him, "Tim, where are you? The gate closes in 1 hour." So he was fully convinced he was going to be going on the plane the next day, but it was today. And, you know, full panic breaks loose. His sister, you know, he just grabs his suitcase, whatever he has, grabs his passport, and his sister, who had a driving license, she drove as fast as she could, but he missed the flight. Obviously, you're not gonna make it if it's just like an hour. So so he booked on a flight for the next day, and but it was just so stupid. Who doesn't check the correct date? And they've never let him forget it, and especially when things come up like this, we all remind him of like, oh, it's happening again. Yeah, in a way he was right. He manifested that flight on the next day. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I would be so stressed, and he was very stressed, but yeah. So now I'll be double checking every date. I mean, I already plan 80% of the trips that we take, just because I'm more organized in that way. And one of our next trips is going to be to Shetland. So I'm really looking forward to that, even though, you know, it's in October. But I'm already looking forward to it because we'll be there during Shetland Wool Week. And it's, I think, another month until tickets go on sale. But we've already booked our trip and accommodation. just because there isn't a lot of accommodation on Shetland. And you want to be staying on the correct island. So a lot of places will advertise that, oh yeah, stay on Shetland, and then it's a different then it kind of is a separate island, and it's not really the island where you want to be. I think it's an island group actually, so you just have to be careful. Oh, did I decrease here? Yes. So yeah, I'm excited for the type of events that they have, because it's not going to be a typical yarn festival. And there are 2 other yarn shows that I'm gonna be visiting as well. I'm gonna be going to the Scottish Yarn Festival in Perth on September 7th, and Glasgow School of Yarn at the end of October. It's October 19th and I think 20th. Natasha says, I love the detective series Shetland. Oh, let me just Google that so that I don't forget. Detective Shetland. Ooh. Oh, it's on BBC. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. Maybe I can find a DVD somewhere. I see a review. Good knitwear, great accents, and a stoic detective. That's all I need to know. Good knitwear. I remember. Okay, Annalena. My boyfriend, they went to Peloponnesos. I just remember the name because I was Googling where to find snakes in Greece, and this name just really rings a bell. Peloponnesos. Let's Google it. Peloponnesos. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Okay, so it's close to Athens. Zakynthos. No, they didn't win. They didn't go there. Peloponnesos. But that is far from Thessaloniki. Yeah, I might be confusing things. I think a different front went to Thessaloniki. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I might be confusing things. But Tim definitely went to Peloponnesos. But they also hired a car, so they might have traveled a bit. I've never been to Greece myself. I really want to go. Oh, and while he was there, you know, Tim is always a big fan of feta cheese. And while he was there, he took a video in a supermarket where he was just filming the the cheese aisle, just like feta, 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 and looked really good. Oh, that would be really really nice to teach a workshop. We will see. We will see. Do you know if there's any? Are there any yarn festivals in Greece? Because that might be a really fun reason to travel. And my partner can go find snakes again. um, yes, also it's quite different than the one you get abroad, feta. No yarn festivals. Maybe we start one. How is that possible? Because I think a lot of people knit or crochet in Greece, no? Not much knitting events. Yeah, about the feta, I do think that a lot of cheese is different in the country where it is made than abroad, because we also have Dutch cheese here in the supermarkets. It's nothing like the actual Dutch cheese. So I think I get what you mean with that. Yeah, before the whole pandemic happened, I was in just like the year before 2019, I was in Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, and then I went to Oslo for the Oslo Strikkefest, and I thought, how fun would it be if I could travel around the whole world just to visit yarn festivals and do interviews and take videos of what the yarn festival is like. And then pandemic happened, and then I was scared to travel, of course. Yeah, might still be fun. It has become popular again, but I think because there aren't many Greek yarn companies. Oh, there's not much interest organizing events. Hi Marianne. Marianne says there is a crochet holiday in Greece. Oh, a Dutch lady's organizing this. It's called Studio Be Lovely. We're just gonna have a cheeky Google. Crochet Be Lovely. Studio Be Lovely. Crochet retreats in Greece. they also have a crochet weekend on the Dutch coast. Hellevoetsluis. Oh, 2020. Oh. Let's see. Greece program. Kos Airport. Taking a ferry to Kalymnos. Oh, I see lots of crochet. Crochet on the beach and go snorkeling. Oh, so they have 3 retreats happening in September. One of them is already fully booked. And it's €600 per person. And I think it was 6 days. Yeah, but that's not including the flight ticket. Yeah. Oh, looks nice though. Yeah, I mean, oh, I love retreats. They're so nice. Maybe I should do a retreat here in Scotland and just, you know, organize that there's a whole tour bus leaving from the Netherlands coming here. I have been thinking about that. Because there is so much. One thing that I really love about living here is that there's so much here for handcraft. There are a lot of wool events and a lot of local makers, and you know, most of them don't have a real shop that you can visit. Most of them are just online, but a lot of them do have like their studio, and if you contact them, then they can open their studio for you. So that would be really nice to, you know, just to have a group for a retreat and just visit all of these places. That would be very nice. And I have some comments to read. And Elena says, my dream the last couple of years is to organize a knitting and crafting retreat here on my island. Yes, so maybe we could organize something. Yes, oh, I would love that. So we kind of had same idea. Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, I have a friend who has some experience organizing events, because I do think that there's a lot that you need to think about. You know, with accommodation, and is everything accessible, and with dinner, is anybody allergic to something, you know. But yeah, I think it can be really fun. Oops. And there are a lot of birds here to do some bird watching. Hey. Yeah. I have become quite the bird watcher. Yeah, it would be so nice. Well, you know, if you ever want to want to make that dream a reality, let me know. And yeah, I'd love to share about it. And maybe I could do a workshop at your retreat if you want. How fun would that be? Marianne says, I'd love to see some real life puffins. Yes! Oh, let me share the best place that I know of. So we are going to Handa Island next week. Handa Island is really like in the northwest of Scotland. And it's really beautiful and you can see them quite well, but it's after we went there a couple years ago, we then went to Wales where there is Scomer Island, and I'll type it in the chat. Scomer Island. And there you can see them really close, like even 1 meter away from you. They're so cute. But they're only there a couple of months in the year, so like June, July, August. Yeah, I think July is the best time. And to Wales, you can drive there very easily from the Netherlands or from Belgium, because we took we drove through the tunnel from Calais to Dover. There's also a ferry, I think, from Calais to Dover. So, and then when you arrive in Dover, then it's just, let me actually see how many hours it was. I think it was 8 hours in total from where we lived in the Netherlands to Wales. Yeah. From when you arrive in Dover, it's about 5 to 6 hours to Wales. So we drove all of that in one day. And Scomer Island is really good place to see them because they come really close. They only come and land for the mating season. Rest of the year they are at sea. Yes, exactly. So yeah. Oh, have you seen them before? Yeah, and sometimes, you know, it's not always that they appear on the same time of year each year. So you want to keep an eye on the website, because they do have webcams. Let's see. Scomer Island webcam. The webcam is very blurry right now, but but yeah, they have a live stream, so you can check whether the puffins have arrived and then start planning your trip. Oh, and they are so cute. And on Scomer Island, you can even stay there for a couple days. But we just went and then returned on the same day. Yeah, it was really nice. And they are very small, much smaller than I thought. They're very cute. And he's hiding there, but I have a little puffin. Little puffin. That we got. I think this was actually from Honda Island, but this has been our mascot. Oh, you found it! There are a lot of them. I'll check out the webcam later because I don't want to be messing up my internet. Because if I start watching a live video, then my video might might get worse. But yeah, highly recommend Skomer Island. It is beautiful. Take binoculars. Take you know, if you have a telescope for bird watching, we also had that. But honestly, they are so close that you don't even need it. On Honda Island, we did need the telescope because they were a bit further away. But yeah, and you know, puffins, they get hunted too by really big seagulls and other big birds, which that's just what happens. And those bigger birds, they don't come near humans. And the puffins have kind of seen that, like, huh, those big birds stay away from the humans. So if I go near the humans, I will be safe. So they kind of come near you, and then they're just chilling, just because they know that then the predators won't come near. So it's kind of still sad, but also it's nature. It's just what happens. Yeah, and on the there are lots of volunteer groups maintaining the islands, and it does really help the puffin colony because they're given a good place to build their nests. They don't actually build their own nests. They use bunny burrows to nest in. gonna try it on again. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep decreasing every second row. 2 stitches every second row. Thank you. I only have a little bit left of this one, but I do. That's the color I have the full cake left of, and where I knit the cable swatch from yesterday. Thank you, Annalena, for being here. Lovely to see you. Have a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Yeah. But first, today, I'll post the extra pictures of how I started the sleeves, etc. You'll see that appearing on the website. I think I'll write up a newsletter as well, and then I'll finish the cable headband pattern. That's just a little extra to go on the Patreon page. So I have this headband and the ribbed headband with a different cable. So that's on my list for today. Oh, my mom also took new pictures of her version of the cardigan, which was the one with mohair. Um, and she did shorter sleeves for that. So I'll be creating a Ravelry project page for her. And I'll ask my friends as well to send over pictures of their cardigans. And I really want to write up a new blog post where you can see all of the different versions, and then hopefully you get some inspiration about what to make with yours. Because again, you can do so much. Remember the idea that we had with the granny squares around the neck? That would be so good. You could also do tiny granny squares around the sleeve, around the sleeve cuff. Oh, I need to decrease. All right, another stripe finished. Okay. have to say, I do think making the sleeves for a crochet garment is way more fun than making the sleeves for a knit garment. But it just goes so quickly with double crochet stitches. If I'll just count how many rows or rounds I've done. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I'm on my 17th row and I've almost finished the sleeve. Yeah, if I was knitting something, then it would take many more rows. I mean, I also enjoy wearing knitted garments way more. But, yeah. There's pros and cons to both methods. I do wonder what you all think, if you think crochet garments are nicer to make or knitted garments. Natasha says, I prefer knitted. It's a nicer fit than crocheted items. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know what it is exactly. I definitely prefer wearing knitted garments. Not that I've made tons of crochet things. I did make some a crochet just tank top, just a sleeveless top, and I do really enjoy wearing that one. But because it's firmer than knitting, and that's nicer for the base layer of your knitting, of your the crochet top is a nicer base layer for, you know, my outfit. But for a sweater or a cardigan, I do prefer knitted garments. Chris says knitted garments are softer, I think. Yes, I think so too. With crochet, there's a lot of bumps, and I've made one pair of crochet slippers before, and I don't enjoy wearing those because they hurt my feet. And I think it's also why it's not as popular to make crochet socks, because, yeah. Just knit stitches are just more smooth. And especially if you're sensitive to stuff, I do think knitted garments are nicer. But it is fun to have a quick make every once in a while, because this cardigan, I think it would have taken me much longer if I were to knit something like this. So there is something to be said for how fun they are to make. And sometimes I think it's easier to customize things in crochet. I think crochet garments are often more beginner friendly. Miranda says, I've not done a lot of crochet garments. I love my knitted sweater and socks, but I also love my crocheted shawl. Yeah. And Chris says, but I really like doing crochet. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of a balance of enjoying the process, the making, or and then on the other hand, enjoying wearing or using the thing. Natasha says, crochet is easier to frog and start again. 100%. You always start with one stitch instead of like 100 plus stitches on your needles. Yeah. But if you do start with a lot of stitches, I do prefer knitting to crochet, because with crochet, if a knitting pattern starts cast on 200 stitches, fine. I'm casting on those 200 stitches. If a crochet pattern says chain 200 stitches, I'm like, ugh, the world is ending. I am tortured. You know what I mean? But the foundation double crochet stitch that we did, I do enjoy that a lot more than chaining. But I do think I get what you mean. I taught a couple of beginner crochet workshops as well, and the number one problem, or the number one difficulty for crochet beginners was identifying the next stitch. They would be confused if, you know, do I insert in there? Do I insert there? Is that a stitch? And with knitting, that is much easier, because the stitches you need are just on your needle, and it's really easy to see. Similar if you're a bit more advanced, and if you're working with fluffy yarn, it's much easier to see that on the knitting needle than to crochet with it and to figure out where where to make the next stitch. Natasha says, I've designed a crochet scarf pattern that starts at 300 stitching. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just a personal thing. And I know a way around it with the foundation stitch. Yeah. I didn't know you designed patterns. Is it on Ravelry? Can we find you as a designer on Ravelry? Let me know. All right. Another stripe done. I think I'm going to pause for the day because I can really feel my neck and my shoulders. But still, we did quite a bit. We did 8 rows on this side. And 3 rows on this side. That's good. Wow. All right, I am going to grab some lunch and then I'm going to re-knit the baby blanket on the machine that I showed you at the beginning of the stream and try if it works with a different gauge. Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun, as usual. I hope you had fun too. And I will be back next week, Thursday. I'm taking a break from Tuesday streams for a while to be able to focus more time on tutorial videos, because I haven't been posting a lot of tutorial videos and I think I need to get back to that. So I will be back next Thursday, very probably, very possibly, with the finished cardigan. So thank you all so much. Keep your eye on the website for the new sleeve tutorial if you're waiting for that. Otherwise, the Tuesday video is also very helpful. Yeah, thank you all so much and have a great weekend. I hope you get a lot of crafting time and some better weather. Um, yeah, and I will see y'all next week. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye.